This is a roguelike that mixes deck building with auto battling in a way that actually feels fresh. And I think we can agree, this is not a small feat these days. I'm gonna tell you exactly what I liked about this game, and where I think is still definite room to improve. Because this is a very strong mixed bag, with loads of potential. The basic idea is that you're a reprogrammed worker android, fighting aliens. And your deck acts like a printer that spits out cards automatically during combat. You don't play cards yourself. Instead, every couple seconds your deck randomly prints one and uses it immediately. It's hands-off combat, but with all the deck construction decisions that you would expect from a traditional deck builder. Thank you at this point to Ludokultur for sponsoring this video and for fully accepting my editorial independence. Let's take a look at how this works. You start each run by picking from different starting modules, which are basically passive abilities that stick with you. Then you get a small starter deck of basic attack, heal and shield cards. The catch is that your deck has to be an exact size. If you have too few or too many cards, then you can't even start fights. Every 2 days your deck size requirement goes up by 1, so you have to add new cards as you progress. You see, each card has a load value, and if your total deck load gets too high, then your draw speed slows down drastically. This is basically your attack speed, so you want to keep this value low, while still having powerful cards. This does create some interesting tension here, because of course this means you can't stuff your deck with the strongest cards, because these usually have high load values, that then make your entire deck sluggish. The combat here is completely automatic. Your deck shuffles at the start of each fight, then prints cards one by one based on your draw cooldown. The cards do their thing, deal damage, give you shield, heal you, and the enemy does the same on their own timer. If a fight drags on too long, then a sandstorm kicks in that damages both you and the enemy, which usually means whoever has more health and shield wins. You don't lose health directly from losing fights. Instead, you have cores that break when you lose, and if all your cores break, then your run ends. After each fight you get rewards, of course. You can always pick a new card whether you win or lose, but winning gives you scrap currency. Sometimes you also get enhancements instead, which let you upgrade existing cards. These enhancements can boost damage, reduce load, or add special effects. You can upgrade the same card multiple times, though eventually the load starts increasing if you keep stacking enhancements. The actual card variety here is pretty damn big, so this is where things get interesting. There are different card types like tech cards, trigger cards, and attack cards, and many cards have synergies with specific types. For example, some cards repeat their effect if you have enough tech cards in your deck. There are also consume cards that only work once per fight and then disappear, which can be powerful but risky. So the game does encourage you to build around specific synergies, and not simply grabbing whatever looks strongest. Modules are passive items you collect that give you ongoing bonuses throughout the entire run. Some activate when certain conditions are met, like gaining power whenever you play an attack card. These can substantially change how your deck functions and which cards become valuable. Between fights you have the typical stuff like visiting shops to buy cards, and modules using scrap. There are also trade offers where you can swap cards you're not using for new ones. The path system lets you choose which enemies to fight, and there are also elite enemies, which give better rewards. The run structure is straightforward. 10 days of fights leading to a boss. The game has difficulty settings and a no permadeath mode. The game has unlockable characters that change your starting conditions, plus additionally daily challenges and weather effects for variety. Now here's the thing, does it actually go crazy enough and activate those dopamine receptors in the brain just right? Honestly, it's a mixed bag. The builds can get pretty damn satisfying when the synergies click. You can stack modules that trigger off each other, upgrade cards multiple times until they're doing massive numbers, and watch your power start climb into the hundreds. That part feels good, but the deck size restrictions keep things more controlled than something like Monster Train or Slay the Spire, where you can really break the game in half. You are always limited by exactly how many cards you need. And as I mentioned, the load system means you can't stack the most broken cards without slowing yourself down. The automatic combat is also a real trade-off. Of course, you're freed from the decision-making fatigue during the fights, but you also lose that feeling of clutching out a win with the perfect card at the perfect moment. So compared to the massive pile of deck builders out there, this one does carve out its own space, but it doesn't necessarily go harder than the competition. So I'm gonna put it this way, it feels more like a puzzle about building something that runs itself well, instead of pushing for completely absurd combos. If you want that feeling of assembling some ridiculous infinite loop or one-shotting bosses, then you might find this a bit tame. It's got interesting constraints and decent variety, but keep in mind it plays itself safer than the real heavy hitters in the genre.